This is the Gray Hair and Daycare Podcast, with a combined age of 111 years and a combined IQ right in that same range. Your hosts, Frank Sirio and Carlo Russo. Look at that. So, we're back.
We are back.
For episode 4.
We made it to 4, Frank.
We made it. Now, this is the one. I've made some significant investments in technology.
Yes.
We have a much neater setup, and maybe I'll do some behind-the-scenes photos later.
Yep.
But anyway, welcome back. As hopefully some of you know, or if this is your first time, my name is Frank Sirio. I am 55 years old, and my wife is now 21 weeks pregnant. So the first thing that we always talk about is the state of the baby.
State of the baby.
So the baby is now the size of a spaghetti squash.
Love spaghetti and squash.
I do like spaghetti squash. Mm-hmm. Well, I had butternut squash for dinner.
Sure.
The other day, but I think that's bigger. So spaghetti
Maybe 22
squash.
weeks will be a butternut squash.
Butternut squash. That's right. So 21 weeks, spaghetti squash. Mm-hmm. At this point, the features are developing. So it's starting to look like she is going to look. It looks like a mini baby.
Love mini babies.
And no eye color yet.
Really?
No.
21, there's no eye color.
21, no, none of that. So that's where we are. And this is going to be fun because we kind of played in the last couple episodes, we played catch up, and we've kind of covered weeks 0 through 20. And now we're much more real time, and we can start to do some of the segments that we talked about in episode 1.
Yes.
So the first segment that we're going to do is one I don't know if I've talked to you about the name, but I came up with a cute graphic. And if the video works, you'll see the graphics this time.
It is right now.
You're going to love it. So this segment is going to be called the Silver Fox Mailbox.
I love it.
Whenever we have viewer mail or things like that, or responses, and that's what we really want. And we've had some from the first couple episodes already. So I was very excited to see that. So the first one we'll talk about, we got, I think, what turned into a great idea for a lullaby. So Kate, one of the people who has listened to the podcast, reached out and talked about a song that she has sung to her daughter. Okay. Not as a lullaby, but the song from a great movie with Gene Kelly, Singing in the Rain. And the song is Good Morning. Remember? Good morning. But she sing it in the morning. But I thought, when you listen to the lyrics, it's another one. I can imagine singing this to a child that has stayed up all night, right? Like you try to. So I've played around with it, and I think it's going to become one of the lullabies that we will do.
That'd be fun to develop that.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
So I really like that.
So that was from Kate.
From Kate. Awesome. Then we have from Christine. Mm-hmm. One of our social media posts, we talked about parenting wins and parenting fails. Yep. So she brought up, I think, a win, which would be a big win.
Huge win.
Is her daughter was the valedictorian at her high school graduation. That's really big.
Very proud.
And that made me think about, so for you, you were just on a college tour, right?
Just yesterday.
With your younger boy. Exactly. So this is a big thing for Kelly and for me, I'm sure, is academic achievement.
Absolutely.
How did you manage that when the report cards started coming home? How did you approach that as a dad?
Okay, I have 2 versions of this because I have 2 kids. Not all kids learn alike. Not all kids comprehend stuff the same way. And one's not better than the other. They're just different. Yeah. I know my school career was not as great as my older brothers, but we both ended up pretty good. Report cards, you have to know your individual that you're dealing with. You could never come from a place of you're not trying hard enough because you have no idea what kind of what they're dealing with. My oldest always dealt with some kind of learning, not disability, but challenges. Yeah. Where my youngest has not. Right. So he's picked up things where, as parents, you have, and you'll get into this. My first son was bringing home homework, and we were spending 2 hours on homework. Right. Now we thought, okay, this is normal. When we got to talking to teachers, they were like, wait a minute. You shouldn't spend more than 45 minutes. And that's too much.
So you were going to the parent-teacher conference and saying,
yeah,
hey,
our 2 hours, and they're like, wait a minute, 2 hours, why you? And we're like, well, we're reteaching, he's not getting, we then realized, oh, there's something there.
Yeah.
So I could be like, we can go into it going, what are you doing? Don't you listen in school? And then make him feel worse.
Yep.
So you have to come from a place of, wait a minute, is there something here that I'm missing?
Yeah.
Now you'll know when your kid is just spacey and doesn't want to work and has all the tools that he doesn't achieve them. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But he wasn't showing that. He was really frustrated and hard, and he wanted to learn. Where my other one, report cards were easy days.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, very good, merit roll, honor roll. Where the other one was like, hey, you did great. Let's get this. You have to kind of let them tell you what they need, and you have to listen and go, okay, you know better than I do how you're feeling.
Right. I think about because I do when I think about it, I will have high expectations. Yeah. Kelly, I know, will have high expectations too. Mm-hmm. She scares me all the time with the stuff that she knows, with stuff like that. She's very, very bright. But I do think about the idea that I know how I was as a kid. The first thing I think about when I think, what's this going to be like is what I was like as a kid. Once I got into middle school, my goal was to get the best grades I could without ever doing any homework, anything. Okay. I literally had a bet. I'll never forget. I had a bet with my physics teacher in high school that I could get a B+ or better and never open my book.
Oof. And see, I can see that in you now. Yeah. I know that's you.
And he's like, okay. He put a piece of tape on my book, and I did, and I got a B+. And he paid me.
And how did you do that? Just by notes and listening?
I paid attention in class, and that was it.
You can retain it.
I was good. Physics and math and the science stuff. I was not good with. I didn't have biology a little bit less, or chemistry. I really didn't like. Yeah, I was academically. I was good.
Yeah.
So I know. So my thing is, we'll be judging. For my father, it was whatever you did, you could have done better.
You could do better,
right? It didn't matter, no matter what, and that was frustrating because I wasn't a slouch, but that's what I always got. And I also had my brother who obviously was much older, had done very well academically, so there was always that you got to do at least as well as Mike. So I think about how am I going to really judge, because there's no guarantee the kid is going to have the same talents or strengths, and how do I know when they're really trying? Because if somebody had really gotten me to try, I might have done even better, right?
Because there's a difference between being honestly frustrated with themselves because they can't get it.
Yeah.
That's when you have to realize this is beyond, I'm lazy.
Right. They're trying.
And that's when we looked at my son, who you wouldn't know if he had a learning. I mean, it's not.
It is just a different. It's just a different approach, right? They just
them,
yeah. People don't like that. That's one of the I see that with Kelly, right? Mm-hmm. She's even more book learning oriented, academic.
She took it to the next.
Yeah, she's even more so like that, and other people just aren't like that.
For me, I can't learn the same way. And I used to think, oh my God, I'm dumb. I'm a dumb person. I can't achieve what they can, until I learned, oh, wait a minute, I can learn it this way, which is not the same, but at the end of the day, we're going to get to the same place.
Yep. But that expectation that there's only one path.
Right. Yeah, and that's and the one you said, how would I know? You're going to know. Yeah. You're going to know your child, first of all.
Yep.
And you're going to know what they can achieve and how they live.
Yeah.
So when they say to you, I'm trying, I can't, then you can, instead of going, well, try harder, don't go to, stop watching TV. Maybe you should go oh, okay. Yeah. This is not sinking in. Why?
Right.
Is there something, is there a barrier there?
Is there a different way?
So I think to answer that, you will know.
We'll see. Hopefully I will. So that was from Christine, big win, valedictorian. That same daughter, when she was very little.
Is this a fail now or another win?
This was a fail. When her daughter was very little, they lost her for a little while, and she was in the backyard in her Barbie house, but she was so small you couldn't see her through the window of the Barbie house. But did you ever lose? I can picture it in Natalie left at a truck stop.
I'm sure I remember the old department store Kmart.
Yep.
And they used to have just the racks, right? And then
Yep.
clothes would just hang.
Yep.
Right. And when they were little enough, and you'll go through this, when they learn how to run and walk and all that good stuff,
Yep.
and you put them down. And one time we were shopping, I'm telling you, it's a millisecond. You take your eye off, and then all of a sudden you're looking at an empty stroller, right? And
I can picture
you
that.
freak out.
That must be like, your heart must drop.
Your heart, your stomach, you start sweating, you start calling their names loud.
Yeah.
And he was sitting in one of the racks underneath. They're so small that the clothes are covering him, and he's laughing.
That's funny.
And it's the worst feeling.
I can imagine.
I couldn't imagine the walk around the house.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a little bit. They're like, "Where is she?"
Especially if they're little enough, and that would be something.
That's scary.
It made me think of you just made me think of. There was a place I remember doing this to my mother, and there was I don't know if you remember this in the Kmart Plaza. There was a place. It was a clothing store called Riverboat Fashions.
Riverboat, right up next to Rochester Shoes, was it?
Yes, it was next to Rochester Shoes. That's very good. and I was there, and they had the big round racks of clothes, and I was little enough that I could get in there, and it was like a fort.
Yep.
I loved it. So there's, I think, I don't know if my sisters were with us, but I was little. And I was just hanging out, and this was awesome. And she was terrified and thinking I got out of the store. Yeah, not good.
I did. Now that I remember, not my kids, but my brother, who was younger than us. My mother had him at 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. One time he was missing.
Yeah. And
this is the scariest moment. And once I say this, we'll probably make your decision of never owning this. After you hear what I'm going to say.
Okay.
We couldn't find my brother Mike. Couldn't find him. He was a little kid and he could go anywhere. And somebody had to say, "Did we look in the pool?" And that was the worst 5 seconds to run in the backyard. It was the scariest moment of my life because we had no idea what we were going to find. And you couldn't, this kid, he wasn't around.
Yep.
And all these bad feelings and all these bad thoughts come in your head in that moment that feels like it's eternity.
Oh, yep.
And we all looked in the pool and went, "Oh, thank God." But that moment was, that's where he's going to be. That's where he is. Yeah. I know it.
Yeah.
So,
that's got to be terrifying.
So yes, that's terrifying. So that is I don't know if that's a fail or a heart attack. I don't know what that is.
They found, it's not a fail if they found her. And obviously they did because she was valedictorian.
So that's scary. Yes.
So that no doubt.
Did they take the dollhouse apart? Did they just get rid of it?
They condemned it. They burned it. That's it.
Boulder.
That was now Kelly was talking to her about these and she said her family went on a trip to Paris when she was about 4 and her younger sister was about 1, and they lost her younger sister for a little while somewhere in Paris. A little while? I don't know how long. I don't think it was very long.
Okay.
But yeah, she's like, "Oh yeah, we lost my sister." I'm like, "Oh." But
it feels forever. That's one about parenting that nobody...
It probably happens to everybody
right?
at some time.
But nobody really talks about it because it's
nobody's
so
bragging
bad.
About that.
Right. It's like, such a bad...
Guess what I did?
It's a fail. Like it's a fail on every aspect. Yep. You lost your child?
Yeah. Well...
But I remember back in the day when there was less laws and stuff, kids were just lost everywhere. At the beach, you hear them. You ever go to like Green Lakes and go...
That's one of the things that's unique about our generation. Now, kids are like wrapped in bubble wrap. They have helmets.
And they have their phones. You just call them.
They have their phones. You can GPS. They got tags.
They got tags.
They're low jacked, right?
Exactly.
Everybody knows where they are. For us, it's 9 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Right.
Remember the commercials?
Yes.
How bad was it? That, like Cyndi Lauper had to do a commercial to say, "Go find your children."
This is Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. Do you know?
It's so crazy.
But that's the thing, because we had no ways to get a hold of that.
No, there was nothing. And nobody.
The lights, it's dark out. Do you know where your kids are?
It's really dark out, and you haven't seen your kids since dinner, if that.
But the funny thing is also, same brother.
Now he's in a suitcase.
Every year, us immigrants, we're very excited about 4th of July. 4th of July to us immigrants was huge.
It's a big thing.
It was independent. Yeah, it's huge. So we used to go to Green Lakes If you live in this area, you know where it is. If not, it's a park. It's a state park. And we go swimming, barbecue. We spend the whole day.
Yeah.
We would do this from the moment I immigrated to America to like last year. We've kept a tradition going. And one year we were all in the water. And this is the best thing you can imagine is we're all playing in the water and all we hear is the parents of Mike, whatever last name, please come to customers, whatever. Your son is waiting for you.
Your son is waiting
Oh
for
my
you.
God. So yeah, back in the 70s and 80s, there was kids law, and we were worried about, remember the big, don't get kidnapped.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you just lost kids everywhere.
That happened. There were those things. And I always thought it was like crazy. Like with my parents, like there was the field days in the summer.
Yep.
Fireman field days. We could never go.
Nope.
And I never understood why. Well, then I found out later, because there were young girls abducted from those field days.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was not good. So the other thing that we had Christine, and then the other one we had for a win, our friend Dave said that his big win is getting his 17-year-old to shower now.
Oh, Dave.
And when I think about that, you have two boys. Is that a thing?
No.
That's
not in my family.
Yeah, no kidding.
I had them on cologne and underarm deodorant at 2 months. No, I've been so lucky. My kids, yeah, there's no fighting about showers. Maybe when they were like real young and they were like, you would stop them from playing a game, a video game.
Right, they wanted to keep
or watching Elmo or something. They, at night you give them a bath or something, they give you a hard time. But as like 17, no. I mean,
I don't remember that being a thing either. So Dave, it's your fault.
It's Dave. And Dave will be on the podcast. He's one of our guests. So we can actually yell at him.
We can ask him about this. So
why are your
children filthy, Dave? Why? So,
but that's a win for him.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to smell them.
And when he gets it, you got to take the wins. And then the last one we had was from another friend of the podcast, Chris, learning that you were born in Italy. Wanted to know, could you speak Italian? Are you fluent?
As you know, I speak to my parents only in Italian. They've never learned how to speak English, so that would make it.
They know how to nod and smile.
Yes, they smile. They fake them. They fake their way through the American dream. Yeah. But I will say this: I do not speak fluent Italian because what I was brought up was with my dialect from my Sicilian.
You speak a Sicilian,
which is from Palermo, and then even a language less than Palermo is from our town dialect.
Right.
So yes, I speak Italian, but it's more of a Sicilian dialect.
It's very different than if you get the Babel or you get the Rosetta
Words
Stone. It has nothing to do.
Like why are you speaking Spanish to me?
So in my family, my grandparents, they learned a little, but it was my parents would speak to them in Italian. So my dad would speak to his mother in Italian.
Sure.
And then, but they would still, she would still speak to us in English. Okay. But it wasn't great. But
so they went back to their language when they were speaking to each other.
Yes.
But anytime they were talking to the siblings, the nephews, the nieces, the they went grandkids, it was all English.
Yeah, that's
because they didn't want you. They wanted to kind of.
I think they didn't want us to understand what they were saying. Okay. Like they were secrets. But no, I think they made it a point of, I think because of the time that they came to the country, it was very important that you become American. My father learned English, right? Yeah. Being the first generation here, they had to learn English. They had to do that stuff. But there was the Metagon thing where they still talked at home. They spoke Italian.
I know they had to. Yeah. We had to go through that. Yeah. But I think it watered down our culture. Our kids don't speak Italian. You didn't learn Italian.
No,
I'm not teaching. And I come from an immigration story. Yeah. And I still didn't teach my kids Italian.
I've tried very hard before we went to for the year before we went to Italy for the first time. I tried to learn. I had Rosetta Stone. Yep. And I understand more. I still remember stuff because I could pick it up from my family, little bits here and there, but they were dialect as well, but from Southern Italy. My brother-in-law, on the other hand, he is multilingual.
Yes, he
has learned it. Like
he speaks. I don't even want to talk to him because he speaks Italian.
It's amazing. Yeah,
and I'm turning around with Sicilian stuff at him, and he's looking at me going, he's done it. He's really good. Yeah, no, he's good.
So there we are. Those are our first.
Keep bumming him in.
Yeah, really. In any way, comment on our social stuff, questions, ideas. We want to tell your stories.
Yeah.
Because it's easier than making up our own. The next up, I know you've been waiting for it.
Can't wait.
Check, please. Check, please. So check, please. The whole idea is I'm going to keep a running total of what we spend on my daughter. And then when she graduates high school, I'm going to give her the bill. Just the itemized. So
wait a minute. Do you think it ends at high school?
No,
or is that when
I just
you're going to start another
I'm going to
tally?
try to draw a line in the sand.
Okay.
Like, hey, we're into you for $22 million. And like, this is what it is. So far, I'm trying to organize it and keep track. So I broke it up into a few categories so far.
This will be interesting.
So the categories are total spending so far. Do you want to guess? We're very preliminary.
From 0 to now, right?
Yep. Up till now.
I'm going to say a couple $100.
The grand total so far, $370.08. You're very close.
A little bit over budget there.
And a little bit over budget. And I broke it down. So we have categories are books.
Doggy books.
A lot of dog books. Pharmacological stuff. Vitamins and things.
Yeah.
Home goods.
Good. You got to have home goods.
Hardware.
Sure.
And equipment. Just general equipment.
Podcast equipment.
Not podcast equipment. We would be way over $300 for that. So books is the number one category.
Of course.
$147.
Ooh, got some readers in that.
But I'm so excited because I finally finished the last dog book.
Yes, you were talking about.
And I am now in the book that everyone is supposed to read, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Oh yes.
So I'm going through, and I start at the beginning, and it starts at the beginning, and I'm going through. I'm like, I wish I had known all of this when we had all those scares. I'd have been like, shut up, make me a sandwich.
Exactly. I read about this.
Yeah,
relax.
I know all about this. So absolutely, I'm excited to be in that. But yeah, a lot of money on books. Second, equipment at about $100, around $100 on home goods. And then the others are kind of
now. When you say home goods, what do you
like
for the bed? Like
the pregnancy pillow.
Gotcha. Okay.
Things like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and it's almost I didn't bring the breakdown, but the vast majority of it is all on Amazon. It's all Amazon stuff. But so that is check please $370.38.
So at this date, episode 4. We are $370.08. Don't forget the cents.
Don't forget the 8 cents.
Makes no sense at all. All the money you're going to be throwing around.
No sense or 8 cents. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's it. So that is.
You're going to look at that number and go, oh. That was nothing.
Remember back when it was
$300. I will throw that away in the toilet.
My brother was on a transatlantic cruise home, so he hadn't heard any of these podcasts until yesterday.
He's catching up,
and I talked to him today for the first time, and the first thing he brought up was, "Have you bought the $1,000 bassinet yet?" I'm like, "No." Not yet, but
the Eddie Bauer
won't be. Yeah,
that's the one I saw. The Eddie Bauer stroller. Oh my God!
It's all coming. So there you are. Check, please. Next segment. This one is one that I think is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have to figure out as we go.
Can't wait.
And that is Crash Test Daddy, where we test out some of the different baby and parenting products that we're going to have.
I feel this is where I earn my paycheck.
This is going to be. I think this is going to be fun. So we've got this time. It is called the Ergo Baby.
Ergo Baby,
because that's the brand, and it's an Embrace Cozy Newborn Carrier. It is $80 on Amazon.
Okay,
and it's one of those Papoose things.
Papoose.
So what I want to do is we're going to have Carlo.
What?
I'm going to give you the instructions.
Excuse me?
I'm going to give you the instructions, and I want you to figure out how to put this thing on.
Okay. Oh, my God. If you guys could see this, it is... Okay. I'm going to read the Chinese one. Max, can you hold this? Is there any way I can get you to work with me here? This is going to be...
So here we are. Carlo is going to try this out. Okay, I think you got it. So wait a minute. I'm going to be... This will be like one of those things. It's like a Friday night board game where you have to tell somebody how to do something. Okay, number one, I think that is the way you start.
I got this like this.
Yep.
And I make this tight. As you pull.
Yep, because that's how the baby would slide out, and
the baby will slide.
So those go across your shoulder. So So the one in your right hand, you're going to go over your right shoulder. That should probably be facing out. Oh, and also that thing. So that thing, yes. Because then this thing flops up.
Right. Okay.
So by now that your child has scurried away.
Okay. Wait, hold on a minute.
Yes.
So I'm going to say, the baby's crying right now.
Right.
I'm freaking out.
Yes.
I'm like, hold on. Shut up.
That's
Why
it.
are we married?
Okay.
So now I take these.
Yes. And then they crisscross back there.
And they crisscross like a bra.
Yes. Like a bra.
So I'm going to do that.
Now they connect into those clippies there. Yeah. So you're going to have to make that. There you go.
Take this.
This is fantastic. There you go. Oh no, there is a clip. It's just further up on that thing.
Oh.
You gotta slide it down. There you go.
Clip it here. Grab.
I'm so glad that you're the one that has to do this and not me.
I'm gonna. Okay. Now I got this.
Okay.
Hold on, guys. I don't know if this is taking.
There you go.
So where am I?
Oh, there you go. That's it. Get your little clippy. Slide the clippy down.
All you really have to do.
Slide it down. There you go. Clip it in.
And we clip it in.
That's it.
Now,
go get the baby. Okay. Now you got the baby.
I got the baby. I got my daughter.
And then, but now the bottom strap, I think, this thing, you got to cinch up because that's what keeps, So otherwise, the kid's just going to slide out the front.
Keep the baby here.
And now you're ready to jump out of the airplane.
Ready to go.
Fantastic. Well done. That is beautiful. That's great.
What do you guys think?
Okay. I think you did a great job.
I mean, I've never seen this before in my life.
You did better than I would have done. And
hoodie.
I was looking at this and still confused.
I did it with a hoodie.
That's it. So that is the...
Can I do the rest of the show with the baby?
If you want to, you can.
Let's see if we can sit down.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Let's give it a shot.
Let's see if I can.
So that is the Ergo Baby Embrace Cozy Newborn Carrier.
Yeah.
How does it feel? It's okay.
It was not the baby.
That's it.
Is the baby facing the other way, or am I suffocating it?
I think.
Did I kill the baby?
I don't know. Well, let's see.
Have I?
This shows the baby either way.
Okay. All right.
The baby could be facing you. Yes. Or could be out the other way. Right. So, and then as they get older, you can do it forward and have the legs hanging out, facing the world.
You can face it this way.
There you go.
Cozy. And as Frank said, as they get older, the legs will fall out.
The legs can fit outside. So that is fantastic. There it is. Okay, so that was
fun.
That is our first. That is our first crash test daddy.
So what do you think?
I think.
It
seems like it'll be not. Kelly tried it on immediately, and I was like, "How does this like?"
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
We actually got it early in an effort to. She's going to start wearing it to get the dogs used to that, and then with the doll.
Great idea.
So
now, is this something that is meant to be by yourself to do it? Because it was kind of tough.
It was kind of tough. I don't know. I think.
It's possible. I did it.
It doesn't say that it's a team sport to put it on.
It better be.
It looked like it certainly would be. I know. I helped her put it on.
Yeah, and I did it by myself.
When we tried it, you did.
I wish I hope the video was close or not.
All for just the entertainment of our fans.
You laughing at me.
It's fantastic, and for my entertainment.
I'm kind of proud of what I just did.
I'm going to readjust the cameras. Mm-hmm. So that is our inaugural crash test daddy. So. The next thing, the next segment, this is another one, inaugural segment, is Book Report.
Book Report.
We're here for Book Report. So, the Book Report this time is Good Dog, Happy Baby, Preparing Your Dog for the Arrival of Your Child. So, it is 4.4 stars on Amazon. It's about $14. The author's name is Michael Wombacher.
Michael Wombacher.
Published in 2015. Of the books that I have read so far, and I've read many about the dog thing, I think this is the best one. What I like about it is, first of all, I agree with this guy's approach. Like, this guy as a dog trainer, he is relevant to everything else I've ever learned about how you train and take care of dogs.
Gotcha.
And
the outline of what you
what he's saying, miss some of them, like the last book, was just completely like, oh, the pack thing doesn't, the pack mentality with animals has all been proven wrong. Horse shit.
Wrong.
That's they operate that way, right. I think. But anyhow, what I like about it is not a huge read, but it breaks it down. He breaks it down into 12 steps of how you, first of all, evaluate your dog. So understanding, okay, when this happens, what does your dog do? And kind of helps you to categorize your dog as, is your dog going to be really easy? Is your dog going to require a little bit of training? Right. Or is your dog going to need to be put down? Right? Like, you got to get rid of them.
Right.
So it's first assess the dog, and then, okay, how do you train dog B to get better, to be a dog A? And I think, very tactical, easy to understand. This, I think, of the ones that I will review, is the best one.
So I'm going to assume there's ideas of what to do in their practices and stuff, right?
Yep.
And what you've read with the other books, this seems like something that makes more sense to you and your dogs?
I think,
because you have to take your dogs into play.
The second book, and we'll do a review there. The other books were either very similar to this, but less. I think this was like a system which made sense to me.
Right.
Okay, this is what you do first.
It works for your scenario.
Assess what your dogs are doing, then do this. And it also called out throughout the steps, it called out the potential pitfalls. You want to do this because this could happen, right? Like, so it was very logical, simple, easy to understand, and gave you things to do to get yourself so you're comfortable and confident. And it's easy transition.
So you recommend that book?
I would. Of the ones, I'll do the reviews on the others at some point. But I think, knowing now, I would have read. There's one other one that I would say those two are worth it.
Okay.
But this one, if you only do one, I think this is the one. Good dog, happy baby. Preparing your dog for the arrival of your child. And it's a cute picture of a little baby.
It is adorable. It is a scary thought of animals with your child, a baby, because you have no idea how the animal's going to react, because up to this point, they're your babies, right? They are the only, you're taking care of them. You're mommy and daddy to them. I think in your case, you might be more worried about, because your one dog is so big that even with love, it could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. With weight and size.
And a dog, like, one time, and the only time, like, Watson is a big dog.
Yeah.
But I remember one time I didn't know what I had done, but all of a sudden we're in the kitchen and Watson looks at me and growls at me. And when an 85-pound dog growls at you, no matter how experienced you are, I was like, what the? And I yelled at him. And then I looked down on the floor and I realized I had stepped on the fur of his tail and yanked a chunk of fur out of his tail.
So you were the bastard.
I was the bad guy, right? But a little kid, little kid grabs you with those nails. Yeah. Right. Like, the wrong thing happens and the dog reacts naturally. It could be bad.
But I think we talked about this too, maybe episode 1 or 2. I think they know it's a child. I don't know what it is. Animals, they must feel like I have to protect this.
I think
it's not the same as maybe you or me to them. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think they probably do have those instincts.
Like, they can't do like what they see as not innocent, but like, I don't know what the word.
You see videos online of these dogs that are big, pit bulls and big dogs, and they're playing with the baby very gently and all that stuff. And I would love it if we could get there. If we can get there, that'll be great. But I just want to make sure we set them up for success. I think it's going to be fine. But
does Kelly have any kind of a thought over more than you do about this?
No. I think
fears.
I think she just wants to be prepared. The dog she had when she was growing up was a dog that was rehomed because of a child.
Oh,
Then she had a dog before we were together
right.
that she got from a friend who rehomed their dog
remember.
because of a child.
I remember.
So she just doesn't. She's seen it happen and doesn't, because it's a horrible thing for the dog.
Sure.
So I think she just wants to make sure that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to be.
I think you guys will be fine.
I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah. But if
better safe than sorry.
If somebody's out there that is going through that,
that
book helped you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It helped you out.
No, this is a worthwhile read. I would read it. I don't know if I would read 4, maybe, or maybe I would start with the
You've
one.
moved on to humans.
Start
now.
with the one about the baby, but that's it. But yeah, but there'll be more. Like I said, I just started with another book. I've got a stack of books.
So that's a thumbs up.
Like it's a 4 out of 5 duckies.
Yeah, duckies or
something
rattlers.
Like we're gonna come out. That can be a thing.
It can be a rattle.
That you guys could. Yeah. 4
rattles out of 5?
4 out of 5 rattles.
Okay. All right.
I like that. So yeah, good book. Next segment really is the one where we just talk about what happened, what just happened.
What's up?
What just happened this week.
Okay.
So, but the thing I wanted to talk about, we talked about in the last episode, finding out that it's a girl. And the very next thing that you think about is names.
Right.
I was talking with Kelly about it, and and I'm like, well, we're gonna talk about names.
Sure.
And she reminded me very nicely that I am not allowed to share our name choice for being the internet, and that you people could be crazy. I'm not supposed to share that. So I feel bad that I can't share.
But they understand. I think people understand.
I feel bad. So I want to make it fun for them. Okay. I want to make it fun for our listeners. So what we should do is let our listeners name the baby. So I'm going to want to use a name. I'm not going to always want to say
Kelly and the baby,
the kid, or Kelly and the baby,
or the baby.
So
I like this.
I think we're going to ask everybody, please give us some ideas. You've gotten to know me a little bit. Now it's a little girl. I can share the name that it almost was.
This name is off the.
This can't be used. If they vote for it and they want it to be this.
Well, you can use it as our name.
Yes.
But it won't be.
This is not going to be the name.
Okay.
But it was going to be Olivia.
Love that name.
And Olivia's a pretty name.
Love that name.
What I think is fascinating is I had no idea, but Olivia is a very popular name.
Really?
And I didn't know this, but I was talking with my sister one morning, and we're talking about names, and she's very invested in the names, right? And for some reason thinks she has a say. and at one point, she's like, well, I gave you ideas when you named Watson.
Sister at home or sister away?
My local sister, Paula. Okay. And we're talking about it. She's like, well, I got to suggest names for the others, for Watson, for the dogs. And I'm like, well, yeah, you did, but you'll notice that none of your names got picked.
Yeah.
Like we went in a different direction.
We went with Watson.
But we're talking about it, and I mentioned Olivia.
Sure.
And she's like, oh, Olivia, yeah. And then she goes and she searches, and Olivia has been like the number 1 girl name for the last 3 or 4 years, and in the top 5 for the last decade.
Really?
And I don't know any.
I don't
Olivia.
know, not one. I know one.
I have an Olivia, an employee who's an Olivia in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And other than that, no Olivias in my life. But I went about the time we were having these conversations, I went and got a haircut, and the girl who cuts my hair for many, many years, a great girl, Danielle. She has 4 kids, I think.
They're all named Olivia.
But I asked her, I'm like, is Olivia? She's like,
Friends.
My daughter has 22 Olivias in her class. God. Like they're everywhere. So apparently we're already lousy with Olivias. So Olivia got eliminated.
Aww,
and which
okay.
I was okay. Right. I was okay with. I think we landed on a great name, but you can do even better. So I'm very interested to see.
Do you just want to get rid of Olivia? Let's not even do it as a fake name.
I'm okay if you vote. If that wins, if the people speak and they want
Olivia's on the table, guys.
Olivia is okay.
Olivia is on the table.
But that's I think it'll be fun.
I knew we weren't having a daughter when we couldn't come up with a name.
A girl name? Really?
Yeah, my wife and I were like, do you like the, it was kind of like, everybody's named Bella.
Yeah.
How about, it was like, and we knew Nick. We knew that right off the bat. We're like, we're not having a girl.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know what the
Not even entertaining.
Yeah, we're not even in it.
So when you knew, I know you waited to find out that they were boys.
The day of the labor, right?
So you obviously didn't have a name, but you had ideas. Like, how did you come to your two boys' names?
So we went to traditional. First son was my father's name. I didn't want to go Carlo Jr. No,
right.
I didn't want to do that. So my first one was my father's first name, which is Natale. So that's my son. And his middle name is my wife's father's name.
Okay.
Thomas. So
Natale Thomas.
Natale Thomas.
Natale Thomas Russo.
Yes.
It's a good name.
Yeah, strong name.
Yeah.
So
good name.
So when we had our second, we went to my wife's side of the family. Funny story here. My last name, Russo. I'm Carlo Russo. My wife's family, on her mother's side, is also Russo. My mother-in-law is Russo.
Okay.
So Russo is the Jones and Smiths of Italy. Yeah. So that's not a big deal that you find two people named Russo. Yeah. But her grandfather was Nicholas Russo.
Okay.
So when we named my second son Nick, we both have Natale Russo, which is his, and then Nicholas Russo. So, so that doesn't usually happen because generally you don't have the same last names.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we went. If it was a female,
right,
and having them, it would have been my grandmother. Her name was Graziella, which is Grace.
Graziella, okay.
But
that's a pretty name that you don't hear
right,
anymore.
It is a pretty name.
Yeah.
But it never stuck with us, so we're like, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Nick,
that's interesting.
It's funny because when I was young, people would ask you what your father's name is. And I was embarrassed of my own name because I didn't know any Carlos.
Right.
There was no Carlo. There was Carls. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of Carlos at the time either.
No.
So Carlo, I didn't, everybody just didn't know my name. I didn't like it. So then when they asked me my father's name, I really didn't want to say his name. I'm like, if you're having trouble with Carlo, you're really going to have a field day with Natale.
Right.
Right. So I used to call my father Nick. So in all the school stuff that would come to my house, it'd be parents of Nick Russo. So I always had this name in my mind for some reason.
Okay. Yeah.
Nick Russo.
That's interesting.
And then now I have a son named Nick Russo. So it's weird how it works, how that kind of works. Because Natalia and Nick are not the same name.
So with I know initially I thought your name was short for Giancarlo, but you're just Carlo.
I'm just Carlo.
Okay.
And then the middle names were my father-in-law, Thomas.
Yeah.
And then Nicholas took my name as a middle name. So he's Nicholas Carlo.
With the girl names, obviously Olivia got kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
But the family name thing for us, I would have liked. So my mom was Pauline.
Okay.
I
know there's a Paul. Yeah.
So I said, "What about?" I said, "What about Pauline?" Kelly was like, did not like that, and enough where I would have liked to have done that, but my mother hated her name. Like she didn't like her name anyway. So I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen. My grandmothers were Mary Ann, and then my dad's mom was Lucia. And
Lucy.
It's cute. Could be cute.
You already have that.
But she was such a miserable woman. The last thing I want to do, like she's
put it onto a baby.
Oh, good. Yeah, she was awful. So that wasn't going to happen. And then for Kelly, it was there wasn't a family name that really resonated. Mm-hmm. So anyway, now we landed on whatever you say. So at some point, we're going to put a post out on social and just give us give us your ideas. We'll vote, and that'll be it.
That will be the baby's name,
and that will be
from now on
for just
until forever,
for the
until
rest
high school.
For the rest of this little girl's life, I'm gonna. If this podcast is successful, I'm gonna be calling her by the wrong name.
Kelly and the baby are.
That's what. Now you have an older brother and a younger brother. Mm-hmm. Did you get constantly called Pete?
Yes,
you did. So that was.
Yeah.
Mike. I got that. I was they would all. My father would be Frank.
I only have two, and I screw it up. I mean, it's only Nick or Natalie, and I'm like, if you screw it up, you're
that's
you're
bad.
going to be called.
Well, the better name would be Watson. I mean,
No, your problem is you got dog names and podcast names you're going to throw in there.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be
Olivia,
completely confused. That'll be it. No, so
you've decided. You and Kelly have decided?
Yes, we have decided.
Wow, big step.
Yeah, I got to listen to the conversation, Kelly talking with her mother.
Okay.
And discussing the name choice.
Now, I don't know. I don't even know. Is this a family name or is this a brand new addition name to the
I will
series?
say it has similarities to some of the names we have discussed.
Gotcha. Okay.
But no, it is not a family name. But I think it's very pretty.
My brother broke the tradition,
right?
When he had his daughter,
yeah,
to not have a traditional family name,
right? And
you think it's a big deal? It's not.
The other thing that's difficult with a girl name is, as I said, my cousin, 3 girls, my other cousin and girl, my brother, 2 girls. There's a lot of girls, and they've taken all the good ones that go with our last name, with our surname.
The funny thing, I know, really, you have to think of the name, the whole name. I remember Trina was pregnant and we were at dinner and our name, for some reason, we were just, like I said, having a hard time with a female name. And I was like, is it going to go to Graciela? Am I going to have a baby Grace? I'm like, I still wasn't sold in that. And for some reason, the popular name at the time, other than Olivia, was Bella.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's Bella.
My sister's granddaughter's a Bella.
There you are.
Yep.
So, and I thought I can live with Bella. I can live with, and then I get a phone call as we're eating dinner, and we're kind of sold into this name for a couple of days now.
Yeah.
My younger brother calls me and says, "Hey, I just got a dog. I named it Bella."
That's right. He had a pitbull.
Bella, yeah.
That's right.
And I'm like, that's off the table. Yeah. I'm not naming the baby after the dog.
That's it.
So he took my Bella.
He took your Bella.
So we didn't have to worry about it. Nick came out anyways.
So we're looking for names.
The contest.
We'll do a little contest.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And then the name that we do pick, we'll send him out a T-shirt.
Okay, we could do that. Yeah,
absolutely. Just we'll pick it out.
Limited edition.
Frankie and I are the only ones that have them.
That's right.
A GHDC
podcast shirt.
So we'll get that. That'll be our first giveaway of the podcast.
There you go. That sounds fun.
Awesome.
So the other thing that happened for this week, for what just happened, is we were going through the podcast that we did last week.
Okay.
And one of the things that we talk about was that the non-invasive prenatal testing.
Yes.
Right. So the whole thing with that is it's looking for chromosomal abnormalities. So we did it the first time and it came back inconclusive. So we had to do it again. Second time, everything came back good. So we were talking about that. Kelly, while we're talking about it, says, well, I didn't say anything at the time.
Oh, God.
But the most typical result, when there's no result, when you do the testing, typically it's because there is an abnormality. And we redid it. When we redid it and everything came back good, there was, a period of, it was like 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, she knew that and did not tell me. And I wasn't sure how to process that because I thought, okay, so for 2 weeks, she's thinking there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And she didn't tell me. And it bothered me a little bit. I thought, I felt bad.
I should know.
I felt bad. Less that it was I should know, and more that I should be sharing that burden with her, whether it's a real burden or not.
Don't spare me. Don't spare me. My feeling.
I hate the idea of she already has to go all of the physical stuff,
right?
Like pretty much on her own, right? Like I can't have this baby for her.
Yeah, everything's happening to her.
I can be supportive, but she's doing the work. She's doing literally the heavy lifting,
the hormones, everything.
She's doing
changes.
it. So I think it made me feel bad. I understand why,
of course,
that she's thinking, that it's probably nothing and we're just going to do it again and it'll be fine. But when she said, and I don't think when she told me, I don't think she thought that I was going to be, bothered by it. And I don't know if I even let on because it wasn't until later on when I talked about what we're going to talk about on this podcast. I was like, that bothered me a little. And it just made me think about throughout this whole process, I think it's worth us having a conversation and talking about don't spare me. And secrets are bad, right? Like they're just,
because they're going to hurt. They're going to eat somebody up. Right?
Yeah.
Why put that more on you?
Yeah.
Share it.
Yeah.
Because it's easier when it's out there.
If it went the right way, that's a good thing. But if it went the wrong way, I don't know if it saved me 2 weeks of knowing.
And then, but now you have to think about, why didn't you let me share this with you?
Yeah. Like
take this
that's
upon you.
I don't want to be.
Well, this is a learning thing for everybody. This is her first child, obviously, like you.
Yeah.
She already experienced a little bit of fear and saw you react to that.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
She already
saw me turn into a mess. Yeah.
She already saw the low end of what your feelings are and how much you want this so bad.
Yeah.
Where you even said to yourself, when you heard the good news, you ran out of the room because you didn't want to hear anything else.
Yeah.
Give me those pancakes.
Yep. That's right.
So at the same time, is she sparing? No, she's probably thinking, listen, if it's out there, it's going to come out. We're both going to deal with it anyways.
Right. And I think
if I'm going to throw something out there that is probably nothing anyways, do I really want to set the world on fire right now?
Right. I do think, I do think that also for her in that moment, yes, that's the most likely that happens, but also we really don't know. Like there isn't anything definitive, so why share it? And I understand that too. And this is helpful. This is almost like therapy because.
Well, I think this is what this show is all about.
Well, because you do point out, we just did a whole podcast on how I was a mess when this stuff was going on. And and I didn't hide it well. So that makes me feel a little bit better.
No, you have to understand that if something eventually is good and bad, you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a learning process for everybody, and you're never going to figure this out until our dying day of what we're doing. Sometimes it's a hit or miss. It's hit or miss. Yep. Should I have done this differently? Do I do it? And next time, maybe if something comes up, she'll take that conversation you had and go, let me tell him right now.
Yeah.
Or next time it happens and she does it again, you'll also understand, listen, it was something that she dealt with. She made a decision that
this was not done thoughtlessly.
Right.
No, not at all.
Right.
So there was that. And then the thing that I thought was more funny was Kelly had been talking about reaching out to like some of her family members because she feels like she didn't grow up with where there was like a little cousin or a younger or a much younger sister, where she feels like she has a lot of experience around children. But she has, other cousins and friends and stuff like that. So she was talking about that. And I said, well, when you think about it, you've lived with me for a while now. And living with me is very much like living with a child, right? I say things that you think are completely inappropriate. I have biological issues that you think are disgusting. You can't watch what you want on TV because you got to watch what I want. And a surprising amount of what we watch is cartoons. I'm going down the list of, I never want what you plan on making for dinner. There's all those things. I'm like,
she married a child.
I'm like, you basically are living with a child. Like you have a lot of experience. You're always using words that I don't understand. Like I'm always asking.
Mommy's smarter than me.
I'm always asking questions. So I think you're good, right? Like you're all set. That is one of the things that I do like about our relationship. Is this is another insight into my wonderful wife, Kelly. Is Kelly has 2 laughs. She has her practiced laugh, which is, I found out later in meeting some of her extended family, it's her father's laugh.
Oh, okay.
Right? She has a laugh, is that. And she has a laugh that is her real laugh. And
genuine.
My favorite thing is to get the real laugh.
Her giggles are
they melt you. The genuine. Oh yeah. That's I love, because I know not everybody gets them.
No.
I see it, you get them. Right. But I think I see that, and I love getting the real laugh. So when I say stuff like that, she just starts laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like that's
Well, that's when you can tell you're a partner, right? Like that's who I want to make happy.
That was a big thing that was a big thing in the beginning, was figuring out, getting her to, I knew this is clearly a person I'm very interested in.
Right.
I'm attracted to. She's, we have great conversations, but finding out kind of the real person when she relaxed a little bit and I started to get the real laugh. Okay, like this is who she really is.
We used to walk every day and used to talk.
Yeah,
when you guys were dating.
Yeah.
And this is nothing that, oh my God, this is a fresh dating month, 2 months, whatever, when you are supposed to have questions and figure people out. And you would bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I got to get to the real.
Yeah. I just felt like it wasn't there. And then one date,
it broke through.
All of a sudden there was the real laugh. And I'm like, oh, okay. I got like,
it's like this is who you can see inside their whoever they are. Right?
Then I mean, you feel like, okay, now she trusts me enough to relax. Right. And so she was amused by.
So she's at this point, she's not concerned, but she's questioning, like, I haven't been really around kids. Do I know what I'm going to?
I think she's thinking now, like, very tactically, like, how is this going to work overnight? Like, the baby's going to be in the room with us. What do you do? My sister in Texas is a great is a great resource. Talk to her. She's got family members. She's getting all the textbook stuff, and she wants practical experience of. And
I think a lot of this stuff also falls into place when it happens.
Yeah,
it's natural.
You're going to figure it out.
You know what I mean? Because half the time, for the first couple of weeks, you're going to be doing everything without sleep. So there's going to be chaos in your mind. Yeah. There's going to be lack of sleep, lack of thought, you're not going to put a sentence together. The only thought is the baby.
Yeah.
Feed, clean, keep everything alive. Keep this child alive. And you figure it out in your worst times of when you're weak and hungry and your eating patterns are all over the place. And you do the best work. That's when, like, you figure it out. Like, oh yeah. And then when you get your sleep in, when the baby starts getting into a little pattern, then you're like, you can breathe and go, oh, okay. We got that out.
Yeah.
We did the whole.
We figured it out.
Yeah, we figured it out. I mean, the first scary part of everything when the baby finally comes to you is, how do I bring this home without crashing into anything? My car is going to be, you're going to be driving 10 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And everything that you see around you is aiming at you in your mind. This car's going to hit me. This person's going to hit me. Yeah. Everything. Funny. I'm going to get a flat tire. So that's going to be your first initial freak out when you walk out of that hospital.
Right.
Your baby's not even home yet.
No. Yeah.
So it comes together.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Well, once again,
this is a fun one.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
I forgot that I was doing a bunch of crash
test daddy, all that stuff. Again, if you stayed with us until the end, we really appreciate it. And we thank you for taking the time. Please send us our name suggestions, any stories, ideas, anything that you would
comments, any suggestions,
all that stuff. And if you've gotten this far and you're like a few episodes in, share us with your friends. Please do. That is the best way that we're going to kind of make the podcast successful. So share us, like us, do all that stuff.
Subscribe. It's free. It helps us out.
Yeah.
Get those names in there. You can be owning a rare merch.
Limited
edition right off the press.
Gray Hair and Daycare Podcast t-shirt.
That's right. So this will be
someday
fun.
That could be worth a lot of money.
Let's do a time frame. How long do we want to do this? It's right now. This will come out.
So this will come out in a couple weeks. We could say that when we were recording for the week of Christmas. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. Then. So you'll have basically all of the rest of November.
Yep.
And some of December.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it'll give time to build up some people.
We'll do a post with what we're looking for, and then you guys can submit. But if we
get one that's crushing it,
that's killing it,
we're gonna grab it.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah. This will be interesting to see what people think. So it's all going to be Olivia.
So Kelly is going to have it'll probably be baby name pretty soon.
Francine.
Do you want something funny or do you want?
I think it's all up to them.
Yeah.
But it's. What is it? What's his name? Mark Hamill. He had his fans name his dog, and it became Bark Hamill. Come up with something fun. I'm all for it.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks again, and we will see you next time. Well, folks, that's another episode of the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast in the books. Thanks very much for tuning in and spending this time with us. We hope it was fun. If you enjoyed this week's descent into the madness of dadness, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of our future adventures. And while you're at it, give us a like and share the cast with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Carrier Pigeon, whatever you crazy kids are using. Have any hilarious parenting stories of your own? Questions about navigating fatherhood later in life, or even when normal people do it? Email us at ghdc.podcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to bed.